Welcome to Cranky Live, the show where bold minds meet real talk. This isn't your average sports or news show. It's where we break down sports, culture, and controversy with facts, fire, and fearless honesty. Here, truth cuts through the noise and hype gets exposed. From football to track and field, from world issues to local debates, we ask the tough questions, speak without fear, and go deeper than the headlines. We don't follow the crowd, we set the trend. While others recycle the same tired takes, we bring fresh insight, unfiltered analysis, and bold perspectives. No echo chambers, no puppet talk, just real conversation for people who think for themselves. Listen with your brain, not just your ears. Think critically, question boldly, and speak freely. This is Cranky Live, where reason rules the mic and truth always win. Come on, let's get into it. Good evening, or good night. What time is it? 7? Good evening, man. Sickle Rich. I don't think I've seen that name on the channel before. How are you doing? Good evening. Good evening, everyone. This is Cranky on the Cranky Live podcast. They have my background authenticating myself, who I am, what I do. Thanks for being here. Bless up, Sickle Rich. Thanks for being here. And thanks everyone for being here. I forgot my Knicks were playing tonight. Still would have stopped me from doing the show, but it's NBA season open yesterday. The Thunder look good. The Rockets look good. I'm a big sports fan, not just football. In the US they call it soccer. But I have a lot to talk about. Jamaica. Bless up, Flash. How you doing? All right, Flash G. Michael Thomas, Malik, Gravel for the replacement. Bless Marlon. Barrett, I'm sorry, not Markland. Barrett, Marvin Ferran. How are you doing? Good evening, everyone. As you come in, people, just hit the like button. Hit the like button. It should be a good show today, actually. I'm looking forward to it. The other day I did a show of the wingers and doing some research on the wingers. Bless up Phil Jones and how they're doing, how they're playing. It was sort of depressing because for the ones who are playing, their stats are not good. And then for the other ones who are not playing, they don't have any stats. So it's really depressing. Cephas has 12 games, no goals, no assists. Dixon, play about 7, no goals, no assists. And his playing time gets regressed more and more as he plays. Gray I think he has 1 goal in about 10 games. He's getting a lot of playing time. Bailey's injured. Campbell plays a lot, but I think he has maybe 1 assist. It's ugly. It's ugly. So then I said, okay, you know what? That's the wingers, and it's a little bit depressing. And by the way, and forgot Whisper, but Whisper plays for the under 21. I think he has a go, but under 21 was a little bit different football from I'm going to call adult football. Even though you have very good under 21 players, and Whisper did look good when he came. So we're going to get into that. And then I look at the midfielders, and I'm going to touch upon them, but I want to touch upon something else before I do that. Since I've a couple of things. One is I'm going to touch upon Champions League a little bit, and then I go into just Reggae Boyz football, which is the discussion tonight. Champions League looked interesting. My team, Arsenal, played yesterday, beat Atletico Madrid 4-0. Wasn't great in the first half, but better in the second half. But we're not getting carried away. It's a long season, but we have a lot of talented players and we spend a lot of money. So we should do well. Man City won. What was played yesterday? Arsenal, Man City, Newcastle won. And then today, Liverpool get a beaten stick to play against who don't play defense like they don't. And so they scored, 5 today? Tottenham drew, but Malcolm should have beat them. Balogun missed some real simple chances. And then Chelsea win 5-1 against Ajax. So good thing for the English teams. I mean, Real Madrid won, Bayern Munich won, PSG won big yesterday. So the big teams have won, and it does beg the question: should you have a Super League? Because smaller teams are just not competing. Bless up, Langsley Bake. Thanks for being here. And then, so back to the football. So I've been doing some follow up because You know what? When I used to come on the channel before the World Cup qualification last round started and talked about the players we expect to join the team, and I was very excited. And that was what enlightened me and had that enthusiasm, which is if we get those players in, then no matter how bad the coach is, we're going to make the World Cup. That was my philosophy, my perspective, my view. And none of those players came. None. Not one. So they're all out there. So I was very familiar with the Mason Greenwood process, and he got his papers, and we haven't heard anything from him since. And there are a bunch of other players: Cameron Archer, Rico Henry, Max Aarons, Tyreek Mitchell, and I'm missing someone else. Aarons, Mitchell, Cameron Archer, Rico Henry. Now, if you look through all the players, Rico Henry has his citizenship. He wasn't called the last window, which I find interesting. Now, I know we have already 2 left backs, and the coach may like his 2 left backs in Greg Lee and Amari Bell, but I just think based on levels that he may be a better player than those 2, but that's the coach's decision. He has a lot of talented players in that area, so it's not a need, more of a want. But Rico Henry doesn't have his passport; he has citizenship. But you have to call people to get released from your club. Okay, your club is not going to just release you to release you's sake, right? And some of these players don't. They're going through the process, but they don't have their papers as yet. So, but it's my understanding that these players want to play for Jamaica. That's my understanding. That there's no doubt that they want to play for Jamaica. So, it's going to be interesting to see what happens if they get their papers. Do they get to come into the squad? Are we saying the door is closed? So the list I have is Cameron Archer, obviously Rico Henry, Max Aarons. I think Tyreek Mitchell is probably still waiting for England, actually, based on history and what was out there. No, not 2 names that popped up. One I've known about for a while, and one out of the blue who are Jamaican heritage. One I know is interested. The other one probably is also, but I don't know yet. Keenan Davis, who plays in Syria, center forward. He's interested. So that's an interesting one. And then Efron Mason Clark, who plays for Coventry. He starts on the wing. Good player, Jamaican heritage. He's also a possibility. I was looking at some stats for him today. I think he's valued about 8 million euro, which may be second on the Jamaica team in terms of valuation, frankly. I think Bailey's probably the highest valued first player. But he seems to be a good player, a lot of ability. But we have a lot of wingers. So don't know. So that's it for the sort of players who are out there. And I think, I'll say this, I think if the JFF want those players and they push hard, they could get a few of them in the November window. Because the JFFs, I was told way back when the JFF have a relationship with Pika. So if they do have a relationship with Pika, the way it's been provided to me, then they should be able to do that, right? That should not be an issue. Secondly, we're going to talk about, my phone is acting up, people. Sorry about that. We're going to talk about the midfield, because that's what this conversation is about today. And it's the same process we're going to go through, which is look at the midfield stats, look at the players we have. We have some new injuries. I was informed that, and it's been going around for a while, Palmer is out until next year, early next year. Yeah, I know. Mount Pleasant playing, and they're up 2-0, right? The last time I checked, they were up 2-0 against Defense Force. And then, so we have Palmer out, and then Bobby Reid supposedly is injured, but hamstring, which means he probably won't make the November window either. So that's 2/3 of the starting midfield. That is tragic, actually, because we lost the game in the midfield against Curaçao, and Trinidad midfield were better than us even when we had our full team. So that's not a good look. Now, we have some options, and we're going to talk about those options tonight and get your perspective. I walk through those options, where they're playing, how they're playing, what they're doing. But we're going to touch upon the ones that we have today, and can those be a replacement? Because it's not a good thing when the weakest part of your team is getting weaker because you're losing players to injury. Remember the round before this one, we had about 8 to 10 players out injured, including Gray and Bailey. They weren't missed as much this window, obviously. Well, I got to take that back. They were missed in the Curaçao game, to be frank. But maybe not the Bermuda game. People, as you come in, please hit the like button. You hear Warner Brown scores to be in the squad next month? Yeah, the coach likes him. There's only 3 forward spots, you know. So Warner Brown, Borrell. I'm going to talk about the forwards, but not today, another day. Warner Brown, Borrell, Kadamar, and for now, Antonio probably got to find a team, I think. And then Stewart name always comes up, but nothing materialized there, even though he's probably getting more minutes than most players. The one thing I realized in doing the assessment of the players that are available to represent the team is I now understand why the players may not be playing up to their full potential, because they're not getting any playing time in their teams, in their club teams. It's actually very, very sad. If you go through the entirety of the team, very few players are regular starters and very few players are playing 90 minutes. Now, those of you who have played the sport must realize that you can't replicate training in games. You just can't. No matter how hard you train, it's just not the same. It's different. And right now it appears that we're in a difficult place. Tycoon is saying his midfield is Haven, Ravel, DJ, Anglin, Hall, Anderson, Russell. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. You'll get to that, Tycoon. So let's go to the midfield. I'm not going to spend any time on Hayden. Or I should say, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on Hayden. I'm going to go through each of them quickly. Hayden is going to be in the team. He's going to be a starter. We don't have to spend a lot of time going through Hayden. But let's go to the players that we have. Can you guys see this? I've got to expand this. So this is Hayden. And he's played 10 games this season. Well, available for 10 games this season. He's played 10 games. He has 2 assists. He's played a lot of minutes, actually. 852 as compared to a lot of other players. Right? And if you go to the more specifics, you can see the minutes he's played here. A lot of it is for Jamaica. You know what I realized, people? And this is really interesting. The national team is giving players to the minutes more than their club teams, which is always the other way around. Players are getting time with the national team more than getting with the club's teams. Now, Hayden started off a little bit slower this season. There's some of the games that he has played. But frankly, so a lot of these players are getting more game time with their national team, the club team. Now, Hayden's getting anything he played today for QPR. They won 1-0, I think. I think he played about 70 minutes. So he started today. But it's not a good look for the team that's trying to qualify for the World Cup, where a lot of the players are not getting game time. It's just not a good look. But you can see Hayden numbers. I mean, obviously, a lot of games you see here is for Jamaica in terms of CONCACAF, Gold Cup, and all that. But I did it based on 2025. So you see right here, the game. He's the one playing. Well, he's one of the midfielders who's getting a lot of game time. As Ray said, he's played 852 minutes in 10 games. That average out to about 85 minutes per game. So he's getting game time. Markler said Wanashan shouldn't be in the squad. He's not even the best player in the JPL, and he's not better than anyone in our current forward. The coach seems to like him. This team, look, I don't want to get anybody upset, but I don't think the team is picked based on form or picked based on who is playing well. I think legacy is part of it. I think there are other factors. I would love for the coach or the JFF to explain the criteria for selection, even to be in the squad. I actually have no idea what the criteria is, frankly. because I don't think the coach has done his homework as much as he should. And that's part of the problem, actually. Money Pro says, what was the relationship with Ravel and the JFF? I have no idea. I got the sense that in having some conversations, the feeling is that Ravel is not Ravel of old. That's what I got. And some probably didn't rate him before. So, yeah. Yeah, well, Warner Brown is in the mix. The coach talks about him a lot. He always said Warner Brown is injured. This, and he always talks about him. But let's go to the player. So that's Isaac Hayden. So let me pull up somebody else. Let's go to Jon Russell. Now, this to me was a little bit surprising because I don't really follow, I am mainly EPL. Let me try to pull up Jon Russell. This was surprising to me. So this is Jon Russell. And I'll come back to some of your comments. So this is Jon Russell's stats. Let's go to all competition. This is Jon Russell's stats. This is League One, all types. Yep, it's all competition. Jon Russell hasn't played a lot of football. Jon Russell has 97 minutes in 8 games. I mean, look at Jon Russell thing, people. This is scary. No wonder he's playing the way he's playing or not playing. He ain't getting no playing time. 32 minutes, 1 minute, 5 minutes, 17 minutes, 22 minutes. He ain't getting no game time. This is not good. And he's a starting midfielder on the national team, and he's in the championship, and he's not getting game time. Not getting game time at all. Crazy. I mean, these are bad numbers in terms of player, a midfield player, and the midfield is already challenged. So if you're not getting game time, I don't know what's happening. But that's Jon Russell. As you can see, somebody told me that he scored more recently, so they don't have it's up until August 4th. So I think he played a game where someone mentioned he had a goal and an assist. So maybe those 2 games, because they mentioned he wasn't in the squad on the 10th, and they don't have stats for something on the 18th, I'm sorry, for the 11th. So the game was postponed. So I don't know what game somebody just told me recently scored in. I don't know what game that is. But you can see stats, people. They're ugly in terms of playing time. This is a theme for the national squad, which is very, very concerning, given that our 2 most difficult games are coming up in the next window. Like, it's crazy. So that's Jon Russell. There's not much to say there. I mean, to me, Russell has not played well for the national team of late. Yes, he will score a goal here and there. And this may sound weird, but apart from scoring, I don't know what else he does. He doesn't play defense to me. He doesn't link up the play. I don't know what he does. Seriously. I have no idea what he does. So it's interesting. Javaris says he scored versus Manchester United under 21. Yeah. He's a grown man playing grown man football. Why is he doing playing under 21 football? And he come back from injury. Yeah. Someone says Anglin is actually the best CDM currently playing the JPL. He can also play the 8. Yeah, we'll get to Anglin. So Anglin actually has a lot of playing time because I did look at Anglin. So Jon Russell to me is not the answer. Now let's get to Karoy Anderson. People, it doesn't get any better, I know. In fact, you know what? I'm not going to go to Karoy yet because I have some videos. I'm going to go to Karoy later on. I'm not going to get to Karoy yet. Let's go to Ian Fray. Well, I'm not going to do Ian Fray. He's a right back. I'm not putting no right back in this team as a midfielder. He's not midfielder. He's a right back. I know he played CDM against Curaçao. That didn't work out too well. So let's go to Latibaudier. I can't go to Latibaudier because he ain't played no football this season. I looked at his stats. He had a knee injury, and I heard he re-hurt. He probably injured it in practice when he came for national duty. So Lati hasn't played any football this year. So there's nothing there to check. And obviously Lati can play defense. He played defense for his club team at Coventry. But someone sent me some verbiage that Lampard was saying that he re-injured himself, it appears. And he's probably going to be out for a while. So he's not even a consideration. So Lati is not there to be considered. So we have gone through Isaac Hayden. We have gone through Jon Russell. Ian Fray says not a midfielder. Josh, we got to Anglin, but then Anglin is playing the JPL, and the question is, does that league provide enough of a competition to judge him against other players? Right? Not being fair to the player, but I'm gonna put him up anyway. But he's playing because I did check his stats. He is playing football. But levels matter. Levels do matter. Let me see if I can put him up. Oh, that didn't work. It should be Joshua Anglin. I must be spelling it wrong. It is Joshua Anglin. But it's isn't it Jahshaun? I thought that's how it's spelled. Or am I missing a letter? I have JAS. Okay, JAH. But for all the players I've seen, apart from Hayden, he may be the only one getting game time. And then the level is also an issue. So here he is. He's getting game time. He's played more than 4 games. So let me go on this. He's played quite a bit of games. This is only saying Caribbean Cup. Let me just go all competition. So he's played a lot of football. If I pull him up, see, he's played a lot of football. And he's getting 90 minutes. They don't have all information available from the JPL. So they mainly have the CONCACAF competition. But you can see that he's played a lot of football and played 90 minutes. But most of the other players are not playing 90 minutes. Bless up, Oda. One Jamaica said, Anglin is better than Fray, but they use Fray there against Curaçao. Yeah, I mean, I know Anglin has some ability and has some challenge to return to Jamaica. It's going to be interesting because if Anglin is in the team come the World Cup, he may not be able to travel there. So I don't know how that works. Everyone, if you have not hit the like button, please do so. So let's go to who we can call. People, you see how quickly I went through that? You see how long I took with the wingers the other day? So I've gone through Hayden, which is a no-brainer. And let's hope we wrap him in wool, because if he gets injured, we're already in, deep, what. And bless up J. Russ. He's only going to get worse. So we have talked about Hayden. We've talked about Jon Russell. He's not getting any playing time, people. It's awful. And he's playing like it when he comes to the national team. We talk about Karoy Anderson. He's not getting any playing time. Now, when he comes to the national team, he's not getting a lot of time either. So Karoy is not playing. He's only practicing. He ain't playing a lot of football. Ian Fray, to me, is not a midfielder, so I'm not putting him in there. He played against Curaçao. We saw what that is. Joshua Anglin is playing a lot of football, 90 minutes, but we talked about the level, and is that sufficient for him to be considered to be a starter? I'll play beside or be the substitute for Isaac Hayden. We talked about Latibadier, but Latibadier is, well, we'll talk to Kara a little bit. Latibadier is injured, and is injured for a while. Now we have 3 players: Daniel Johnson, Tyrese Hall, and the Maverick. I mean the one that's on Sports Explosion, Ravel Morrison. So I'm gonna do what I normally do. I'm gonna play my little video, then I go through their stats. Ravel has so much club, you need multiple pages for Ravel thing. He plays so much club. But I'm gonna do Tyrese Hall first, and then what I'll do is talk about him a little bit and go through his numbers, right? So let's do this.
2025. These are my 3 players to watch out for.
So this is Tyrese Hall, people. He's a Tottenham player. He played for the under 21. He's 20 years old. And by the way, some are gonna hate me saying this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Tyrese Hall was one of those players who was available for the Jamaica under 20 team that played in the CONCACAF region in Latin America, and we got 15 love. He was one of the 14 players I talked about that had his papers, wanted to come play, and we decided not to pursue him. Well, not even pursue him. We decided not to call him. Forget about pursue. You got your papers. You don't need no pursue. We didn't call him, right? To play for the under 20. So he's back on the radar. He's under 20 years old. The clip you're going to see next is Jermaine Defoe, who was a big-time EPL player, forward, mainly for Tottenham, scored a lot of goals. He was coach for Tottenham under 21. And he was being interviewed by Sky about what the next big thing in English football that he's aware of. And the first person he mentioned was Tyrese Hall. So here is what Jermaine said, and then I'll give you a few tidbits of Tyrese in action.
2025, these are my 3 players to watch out for. I think the first one is a player that I coached at Tottenham for 2 years in the academy. I'll probably go as far as saying he's probably one of the best players at his age I've seen in the country. And actually, I remember we played a game last year against Chelsea, and his performance was unbelievable. It was a stand-up performance. It was probably his best performance of the season in a big game. We end up winning 3-2, was 2-0 down. It was a masterclass, and the player's name is Tyrese Hall. He's someone who I believe is a Premier League footballer. I know that's a big statement, but he's someone who, when I first saw him, I thought, you know what? I believe, God willing, that he's someone that can go on and play at the top level. An unbelievable footballer, so much potential. And he reminds me a little bit, technically, how he is, so silky. Again, another big statement of that Luka Modric sort of vibe and Joe Cole. Phenomenal talent.
I think that's him against Chelsea that Germany was talking about. I think what he has that we're missing is ability to get by his man, to beat people, and to make a subtle pass. Very, very skillful. If you don't see it by now, he's the number 10 player. So now he's at Notts County now on loan. And I'll walk you through his stats when this is done. That's him scoring that goal there. video is not the clearest. So that was let me stop that. That was Tyrese. I'm going to Daniel Johnson next. But let me just put up Tyrese's information, his stats. Now my system is freezing here, people. Forgive me. I don't know what's happening. Uh-oh. I want to refresh this. It's okay. That's better. I don't know if you can see this. So this is Tyrese stats. He went from Tottenham to Notts County on loan. As you can see, wasn't playing much in the first 6 or so games. If you go out on loan and you probably go something in August, you don't get a lot of game time. His game time has increased significantly in the last 4 games, and the production also is there. So you can see he has 4 goals and 1 assist. He's playing the 8th position. He's playing for Notts County. He actually played against Crawley Town, which is Dixon's team, and he had 2 goals in that game. So he has 2 goals, 4 assists. 4 goals, 1 assist. Very tricky player, very skillful player. Watch a lot of videos in him, but the problem is I couldn't use those videos because they're restricted, copyrighted videos. So I could only pull up what I could get that I wouldn't get dinged for. But as you can see, he's getting more game time, 72, 65, 90, 66. So more game time. The production is coming with the game time. And you hear Defoe's perspective on him, which is very talented kid. Obviously would have options to play for England or Jamaica. And we see that materialize in terms of us being able to bring him in. And it's my understanding he want to come play for the national team. And it's my understanding that we're not been calling him. Now, we can talk all we want to talk, but that's my understanding. So let me stop there for 1 second. Gangster said, Hall refused the call. I have no idea where you got that from, Gangsta in Jamaica boy. I'm not going to say anything else except it's my understanding that he wants to play for Jamaica. Okay? That's my understanding. Dr. Hero says, Cranky, Ian Fray did talk about his performance in the first game, and he does have a lot to offer the national team. Yeah, at right back, not at CDM. Bless up, man, you, Mike. Yeah, you catch me live. Finally. Tycoon said, Gangsta, that's a lie. Listen to the interview. He was decided for not getting caught up. Yeah, see, I don't want to talk too much about that, but he was upset about not getting a call up. So whoever's spreading those narratives need to check themselves. But that happens a lot of times. People do things which are not appropriate in what they say in public domain when not go so. And if you're 20 with so much potential, and we've been told that these kids don't want to play for Jamaica, they want to play for the country of their birth. But a lot of times what happens is the kids get frustrated and say, you know what? I can't deal with Jamaica. Because you guys think about this. If you go through the process, file for your papers, got your papers, know you could contribute to the under-20 team, both Janera Johnson and him, there were 2 of them. As I told you guys numerous times, there were 14 players from a lot of them from the big clubs who wanted to come play for the under-20, and we decided not to bring them for whatever reason. We wanted to use the local players, and people can protest and what they want to say. Those players, that the 14 players had their papers, they were not brought in because we want to play local players. It's a fact. Now, that's whoever want to make those decisions, that's their prerogative to do that. But then don't blame those kids or get upset when they are reluctant to come and play for Jamaica because they're not being treated good a lot of times. And some of you guys get into your feelings and get all mad and curse them and say them to go away and blah, 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 when you don't have the full picture or you've been fed information which is not correct. Right? Yeah, no, I mean, the player is playing in the academy for Tottenham and playing well. I was informed that he should have been, people thought he was going to be, I was talking to someone about this, going to be in the Spurs first team this year. our squad this year, and he wasn't. They sent him out on loan because they wanted to get more seasoning. And sometimes these kids don't matriculate at the rate you expect them to, even though they look really good in the under 21. So we'll see what happens with him. But the kid has talent. And when he went to Notts County, you can see he's not getting game time. All of a sudden, he's not getting game time. And he's playing midfield people. This is not a forward. This is not a winger. Our wingers don't have goals. Cephas has no goals, no assists in 12 games. Dixon has no goals, no assists in 7 games. I think Gray has 1 goal and maybe 1 assist in 10 games. Okay? Bailey ain't playing no football. I'm just bringing out people who are playing forward versus midfield. You don't expect your midfielder to be scoring 4 goals and assists in the limited number of games. That's not normal. So obviously the kid has something about him. At least I would think so. He's playing the same league that Dixon's playing in, so it's a very good comparison. Right? It's a very good comparison. So let me go to the next player, who is so we've had a lot. So here's my view on this. There are 3 players who we can bring in to replace the 2 injured players. It's Tyrese Hall. I mean, we could bring in Junior Johnson too, but I didn't look at him because he's not. I don't think he's being considered. So there's Tyrese Hall. There's Daniel Johnson, and obviously the Mercurial, the Maverick, the man who divides opinion, Ravel Morrison, we'll talk about. So we'll talk about Daniel Johnson now. I couldn't use the problem with Daniel Johnson is what I have for him is dated. And the reason why it's dated is because in the French league, the EPL, La Liga, Bundesliga, and the Turkish league, and maybe some main leagues in Europe, and whenever you pull up their material and try to use it, no matter what you do to finagle it, you're getting dinged by YouTube for copyright. So I couldn't play it. So I only have some data information for Daniel Johnson when he was at Preston. So he takes a lot of penalties. All I know. This is Daniel Johnson, though. You know what? I'll go back. This is Daniel Johnson. So Daniel Johnson has been on a lot of people's lips for a while now. Daniel Johnson, I'll show you, is getting playing time. So don't ask me why he's not being considered. I know he's just over 30. That can't be the excuse. Now, this was when he was Preston in the championship. But we'll talk about him when this little tidbit is over. Says he was upset he wasn't called the last time. Let me take this down. That's my understanding too, Odell. So maybe we have the same source. So who the money have called up? Some money have not called up these players. I don't know. I mean, look, you can only call up 23 or 26 players, right? So I guess something to make choices. The only problem I have with that is we seem to call an abundance of forwards and defenders and not enough midfielders. And that's been happening for a little while. Manny says, Speed implied that Tyrese that he doesn't want to come. I don't think Speed said that. I think what Speed said was that when he was asked a question about it was that it's complex. That's what he said. Now, whatever that means, I don't know, but he said it was complex. These situations can be complex in terms of whatever. But it's my understanding the player wants to come, but who knows? I don't know. They had some problem at the Unity Cup with him and Junior Johnson, is my understanding. I don't know what transpired there as to why they didn't go and why they didn't play. But I was informed otherwise about him wanting to play. Well, I wouldn't be surprised playing for the Netherlands. I mean, we didn't want him for the under 20, so why would he come play for Jamaica? All right. I mean, no, it wasn't Hall. It was what's his name that came with Hargrimson? John Wall. John Wall wanted to bring the players. He had 14 of them. We didn't bring one of them. We bring a kid from Leyton Orient, I think. What's his name? Welsh or whatever his name is. But we didn't bring the other 14 who was at Tottenham and Arsenal and Man U, all sort of kids on the under 20. We didn't bring. The guy's name is Oral. Oh. He doesn't know anything about anything. Don't worry about what he said. What is it? We actually had a good midfield when we had DJ and Ravel. Yeah, that's true. We did. The only talent that the people can see is the underdeveloped, limited IQ. Come on, Pasta, man. Pasta, you're being harsh, Pasta. Come on, Pasta. Dwight said the JFF should call up 30 players and choose the right balance for a 23-man squad. Is it the JFF calling? Is it the coach calling? Is it Meron calling? I don't know who. I don't know who called who. I don't know about Nico Riley, actually. I didn't get information on him. I don't remember. I got to go back to the list. I don't know what the list says about him. I'm not calling Ramsey because Ramsey wants to play for England. It's my understanding. Ramsey hasn't expressed any interest to play, not as Dwight McNeil. So you can't call people who are not interested. Is Mason Holgate fit and ready to go? I don't know, actually. Mason, Dwight is the same thing for all the players. For most of the players. They're not getting the game time. No, they're not fit and ready to go. Most of them are not fit and ready to go. No, they're not. You saw the numbers. They're not fit and ready to go. Practice is no replica for game time. Sorry, they're not. I do agree on that point, actually. They probably are. I mean, who knows? They probably are. But not telling us everything. Yeah, I do think that happens. I do think the young overseas players get extremely... You know how young players are nowadays? It's not like before where you tell young players to be patient. They don't want that patient nonsense. They don't want to hear that patience. Let me go to the numbers for DJ. So DJ is playing in the Turkish Super League. And you can see here that he's playing a lot of football. He's probably playing more football than any other person in the Jamaican national team, period. I mean, how many games is that? 9 games? And he's played all 9 games. And the least amount of time he's played is 86 minutes. 60 minutes. That's the last game he played in. He has 1 goal, 2 assists. That says a lot, people. Because most of our team are not playing any football. Right? Most of our team are not playing any football. And he's playing continuously, and we don't call him. Can somebody explain that to me? I don't understand that. He's playing at a high level. He's playing games. We have people in the championship. We have people in the JPL. We have people all over who are getting game time. So is there a problem between Daniel Johnson and the federation? And I can't be the coach because he doesn't know the coach. I don't understand. Can you guys, when you guys are in those press conferences, whoever is in this press conference, can you guys ask that question? Because I'm not ready to go to those press conferences anymore. Can you guys ask the question as to why Daniel Johnson and show the stats? Here's another thing, people. Those of you going to the press conferences, and some of your YouTubers may be watching the channel. I don't say you don't, because I know you do. Think about this. Maybe one of the questions to ask the coaches, what's the selection criteria? Like, seriously, what is the selection criteria? Because I used to hear Ravel is not called because he's not playing in football. The other players that we have there ain't playing no football. You might as well not have a club. You're sitting on the bench every game. Someday you don't even make the bench. Like, what's the criteria for selection? Being a good citizen? I don't understand, people. DJ stats, he's playing at a high level in the Super League where a lot of good players are playing. The Sanis of the world are playing in there. The Usman of the world are playing in that league. He's playing. He's getting game time. He's playing almost every game. He's playing 90 minutes, and he can't get a look in. Like, that makes zero sense. And our midfield is struggling. We went to the Gold Cup with 2 midfielders. We had Busy Atkins in the midfield. Where's Busy Atkins now? I haven't seen Busy being busy in the national team at any point in time after the Gold Cup. And that's not be busy. I'm just saying, I don't understand. Seriously. I don't understand. This makes no sense to me. You have a player who appears to be in form. His team is playing him. He's getting a lot of game time. Most of our players, he's getting more game time than Hayden. And Hayden getting a decent amount of game time. Whether it's Russell, whether it's Bobby Reid, whether it's any one of them, Karoy, they're not getting no game time. He's getting game time. He's playing at a higher level to me than those players in the championship. And he can't get a look in. And nobody's explaining it to anybody. Because when you ask a coach a question, he punts it. If Simon doesn't give the answer, he can't answer it. It's actually crazy. Yeah, I don't think it's about JPL marketing because they're bringing players like Karoy Anderson. Look, people, when I call names, don't take these things personal because some people do. I'm calling names based on stats and information about a player they're playing. We're calling Dixon. We're calling Cephas. We're calling Karoy Anderson. We're calling Russell. We're calling even now Damian Lowe nowadays. I'm not going to defense. They ain't getting no game time. They're not playing no football. So how can you call them over somebody like DJ who's been in the national team, who's played for the national team, who's played with the national team, and you're saying he can't. I'm totally confused. Totally confused. I don't care if they're dead last and are going to go relegated. What does that have to do with the slice of bread? What does it do with the slice of bread? So they're dead last. So the JPL is better than the Turkish Super League? He's getting game time, the dead last team. Cephas is in Russia getting 5 and 10 minutes. He ain't even getting game time. Cephas ain't getting no game time. Dixon's game time is being reduced. Karoy ain't getting no game time. Russell ain't getting no game time. Don't tell me he's playing for a last place team. I don't care if he's playing for. They're in the Turkish Super League. They're not in some League 2 or League or the National League. Come on. Damien got released? No, I didn't see that. Wow. Say, well, he's playing in the last place team. What does it do with slice of bread? Last place team. They have a last place team in the EPL, right? Who is the last place team now? Is that Wolves? I mean, you could be a decent team in a big league and you're in last place. Let's be fair, people. There's no midfielder in the Jamaican national team currently who's playing more football than DJ, getting game time. He ain't on no bench. He ain't on bench. I don't understand. So I would expect that when there is, when people are engaging with the coach in these press conferences, that the discussion is had about certain players, right? But the DJ situation to me stood out. When I went through every person who plays wing, so wing play forward, playing a wing as a forward or midfield, this is the one that stood out to me more than anyone else. To me, it's unexplainable. It doesn't make any sense. And if I was a player, I would feel really hurt that I'm performing at a decent level and there are players who are not performing because they can't perform because they get no game time. And they're still being called over me. And they give me called window after window. And some of them are not producing for the national team. So you give yourself the best chance to win. That's the question. And last but not least, in terms of the list, let me just take some more comments first. Because some people get their feelings when you start talking about these things. Because they have their favorite players and their special players. And they don't like you talk about some players. Yeah. There's a quota system. Even if there's a quota system, you're still calling someone like Karoy. Now, I think Dixon has been the most. So here's when I get beaten. Because people say I'm picking on Dixon. I think he's been the most fortunate person ever in the national team, in the Jamaican national team, maybe in the history of the national team. Like, he get called when he was not even being on the bench for Charlton. When he was even in the squad, most games he got called. He got called over Tyrese Campbell, who was in the team. Now, is he better than Tyrese? I don't know. Tyrese hasn't hit the ball in the cover. And let me mention Tyrese too. Tyrese ain't getting no assists and no goals. I think he might be have 1 assist all season. Point I'm making is DJ has 1 goal and 2 assists, probably more than any of our forward line, frankly, and he's playing in the midfield. Same with Tyrese Hall, who has 4 goals and 1 assist, and they can't get called. But people ain't getting no playing time, who are on the bench, or when they play, they ain't scoring or getting assists, they're getting called. And then we can't. And so when you go to the press conference, you ask these questions, people get mad at you that you're trying to show up the coach. You're trying to show up the coach. You're trying to show up yourself, and you show yourself out and try to show up the coach. When all you want is information to inform your view about how decisions are made. There's a moratorium on 30 Players are too old. Yeah, but at least select the ones who are playing. There's no moratorium on age for me in football. You know, when Ronaldo playing till he's like 40 and he's in the Portugal team, you have players who are playing in their mid-30s. I'm not putting a moratorium on age. No, that's not fair. That's age discrimination. If you're playing well, you get called. If you're not playing well, there's no moratorium on youth and there's no moratorium on senior citizens. No, if you're good enough, you play. And if you play well enough, you play, period. Shouldn't be that way. We can talk about refreshing the team after the World Cup. Right now, you play your best players. Chris says, to the end of the day, selection should be based on playing time, discipline, and consistency. Simple. Their players being called just because. Yeah, I mean, their players being called just because. I agree with that. Bobby Reid and Kaysie are injured, so we'll have to make midfield change for next window. Yeah, but who are those changes? Are we going to the JPL to fund those areas? Or are we going to spread our wings and go global to find players who have the necessary papers, they have the paperwork to be in this position? I have no confidence we're going to go and pick the best players just based on the historical selection process. All right, let me go to Ravel. So I don't have any new thing on Ravel, people. I'm going to play my old Ravel video because I like watching Ravel play football. And I went through Ravel's stats. Ravel must play for 100 teams. I'm just exaggerating. He played for a lot of teams. I'm going to do Ravel and then we can talk some more. So this is the man with the vice opinion. I just used a lot of the Jamaica thing. I didn't put up his historical stuff. Sure, you have seen this already. I just like to watch him play football. Those flicks are not normal, people. They're not normal. They go into the destination and just go by people so easy. Then people, even when he's like Ronaldinho, when he's 50, he can still play football. Some footballers don't feel pressure. He's one of them. Never under pressure. Space and time, which are imperative in football, he has all the time and all the space. He creates it. His movement, his brain, his thought process. Now, I know some of you are anti-Ravel and some are Ravel disciples. So man has eyes in the back of his head. That's a back heel, people. Running at how many miles an hour? You know, it was Flemmer scoring, wasn't it? I think that was at the game. Probably. Do you see us playing 1-2 in the midfield? That's not by chance, you know. He plays a lot of 1-2s. We don't play 1-2 in the midfield. People are not that confident to play the ball and go back and get it. All right. I'm not going to do the K-Ride one. I talked about K-Ride already. You ain't getting no playing time, so I can't play K-Ride video. But those were the three individuals, Tyrese Hall, Daniel Johnson, and to me, Ravel Morrison, who should be the options for the coach in the next window, given the number of injuries that we have in the midfield. We do need a workhorse in there. I don't think any of them are workhorses. And Tyrese may be workhorse, but probably more offensive minded. So we got to figure that out, actually. Do we play a single pivot or a double pivot? Especially if we're playing the better teams. But we need midfielders who can put pressure on the opposition. Our midfielders don't put pressure on the opposition because they're not comfortable on the ball. When you're going by people, they have to respect you. They have to take less risk because they don't want you to go by them and create mismatches when you go forward. So we need to think about, as we go into the next window, how we get midfielders on the field who can put pressure on the opposition. Yeah, I know. Do I say we should call Ian Fray, Isaac Hayden, Jon Tyrese Hall, and Ravel Morrison? I don't know about Ian Fray being in the midfield. They're not calling. They're going to call about the same people they call all the time. I don't think that's right either. Again, it's like one Ravel. Yeah, I mean, those are people who love football and know football. Not to insult anyone's football intelligence, but do realize that Ravel can make a difference for the national team. Well, no, I think the Bermuda team and the play against Bermuda has cast a glow over eyes, and people are not really thinking through that who the opposition were, who we played, right? Who was the opposition we played that provided little or no resistance and allow us to look like we're better than we really are. And then we go play against the Curaçao of the world and Trinidad of the world. We just look okay. We don't look as confident. We don't look as confident. We don't play as confident. We're not as confident, and we don't produce as well. Right? Clear as day. Yeah, no, Ravel is a different type of man. Chris says, so can you see what I was talking about? People said I don't like local players. If Charlton coach tried him and said he wasn't ready for League One, remember I kept asking you the question. Yeah, well, I have nothing to do with that. I have called these things out, and people tell me I'm hating and I'm bad mind and all sort of stuff, and I'm against local players. Someone said to me today that they believe that I'm biased against local players, which is far from the truth, actually. I just want the best players to play. Cranky, I heard you did a show up the coach. I didn't hear the press conference, but I heard you diss the program. What does that mean? I'm showing up the coach and I diss the program. Why would I want to diss the program? Nationalists? I don't know what that means. Explain. Provide the question. Indicate the question that I asked. We're just trying to show up the coach. I don't know. Why is it that I think so let me say this. People are not gonna like me saying this. I do not have an inferiority complex. So what does that mean? That means I'm not intimidated in any environment that I'm in. I don't care who I'm with. I'm not intimidated. So I don't think people should come to the Caribbean and view us as second-class citizens and we can't ask them questions. But when they're in England, they get destroyed. Because I know when he was coach of England, he got destroyed. They call him nicknames. So don't come tell me that we can't ask a certain question because you think you are whatever. Not buying that nonsense. I'm going to ask you what I feel like asking you that people want to know and that pertains to the team. If you don't like it, then get out of the kitchen because it's hot. I'm not going to throw you some of the softball questions For what? So I might as well not go to the press conference. If you want to ask you a question that I know the answer for, why am I asking the question? Maybe you guys can come and tell me what question I asked, which was divisive, which was negative, which was so bad that I'm dissing the program. I don't even know what dissing the program means in the context of what. Did I diss the JFF? I don't understand what that means. Seriously. I don't know what that means. I actually don't know what it means. Yeah, I think Ravel and DJ, I think all three should be called actually. We don't have enough midfielders. If we're losing two midfielders, right, who are starters, we need replacement for them. Where are we going to get them from? Let's not go back to the same recycled people we have had in the previous window. If they were good enough, they're not good enough. They're just not. Trinidad, man, them said Jamaica is crazy not having Ravel in the team. I agree. Yeah, well, everybody knows except, it's like it's what you call familiarity breeds contempt. So when you're very used to something, you don't value it as much, frankly. And I don't think Jamaica, the people who are making the football decisions don't value Ravel. You call Lambert for what? J. Russ. Sorry, but I don't think so. Lambert has been there, done that. Decent player, but we need more than decent. I don't know about Nico Riley. I haven't heard about Nico Riley, so I can't come in. So Amen is not a Ravel supporter. No, we don't have anybody else. Amen. Amen. Why don't you give an so Amen? I'm gonna say this to you. Why don't you give a name? Give us a name, Amen. I can't find anybody. No, we don't. Midfielders don't grow on tree. Quality midfielders don't grow on tree. Jamaica doesn't produce any quality midfielders at the level required. They don't. In fact, the Caribbean doesn't. So they don't grow on trees, so we can't find them. Chris Simmons must be talking about Dixon. Dean said a lot of it. There are a lot of Ravel supporters out there now. Amen. You may not be one of them, but so many people can be wrong that follow football. Float says Ravel got to be in the midfield. I agree. Bless up, Conrad. How you doing, Conrad? Yeah, but I don't think the coach likes Ravel. I don't think the coach likes Ravel. I should say maybe not like Ravel's game or something, because he took Ravel all the way from the Middle East, brought him to St. Louis, and give him no game time. JFS spent much thousands of dollars and give him no game time, and he asked for him too, which makes no sense to me. I'm not gonna say that, Chris. Don't say that, Chris. You don't know what level the kid's gonna reach. J. says, call Jamal Lowe over Dixon. Jamal Lowe is playing, actually. He's getting game time. Trinidad cut off Cephas Lane and left the midfield open. Yeah, but Cephas is one-dimensional also. If the coach does not pick a problem, if he will lose both games, I agree. He needs to go. I ain't tired of talking about this coach. I thought we'd get to the World Cup despite the coach, not because of the coach. That hasn't changed. But I get more and more concerned about this coach. Why so many people believe that these two players should be called up and the authorities don't? Cranky, we all have biases, even when we try to be fair. Well, it depends. So in life, everything's about degrees, right? Yes, we all have preferences. You say we have bias. We all have preferences. Doesn't mean I can subjugate my preference to something else if it's the right thing to do. Doesn't mean because I may like a player versus another, if what I require is what some player that's not my favorite player is going to provide to me, doesn't mean I can't make that decision. Jira says, Whisper and Dixon came in the same squad. Two of them should compete for the same spot. Well, they were in the last squad. That may cost Jamaica, that preferential thing may cost Jamaica. And then people take it personal that you're fighting local players, and they can't see. They are so myopic in their view. They are so focused on the local, not the global, that they can't see their biases. So then it becomes very, very difficult for them to be objective in what they're doing. Yeah, but the under 17 kid is very good, Chris. You have to admit that, Chris. The under 17 kid that went to the World Cup for Mexico is very, very good. If Anglin can be called, why not Lambert? Okay. I think they both should be. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm not touching that one, Dwight. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm not even putting that up, Dwight. I know I get too much. I get too much cursed out for, because some people are saying I'm always calling their name. I'm pressuring them. I'm doing this, so I'm backing off unless it gets to me where something is done. I'm just gonna leave that alone. Just check. Yeah, Aka played late. Yeah, but that's the coach, though, right? I don't. Yeah, bring Antonio. You took a spot for somebody who could go see in camp, right? You know what Antonio's ability is? If he can't play, why are you bringing Antonio? Then bring him as an assistant coach. Don't bring him as a player and use up one of the spots. The decisions that are made are asinine. I'm almost sure Gary played. Yeah, he probably played cam now, given how things are. Ravel should play that cam. Gray's not a cam. We already have a lazy winger out there, either Gray or Cephas. Both of them are lazy. So if you want to put another Gray in the middle and Cephas playing right wing, left wing, that's two defenders we're missing. That's two none. Good evening.
Good evening, Cracky. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
Pretty good, fam. So a question for you. I posted it there. I think some of the player selection will be determined by what formation we want to play against Trinidad. So what do you think is our best formation that we should play against Trinidad?
Well, he only plays one formation, right? He plays either four. He has a single pivot or double pivot.
Right, exactly, correct. For a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-1.
4-1. 4-1-3-1.
3-1, yeah.
Am I missing? So yeah, 4-1-3-1.
So that will determine. That will determine the players. You have to call the players that suit those positions.
Well, the 8, the double pivot 8, and the 8 that's allowed box to box is interchangeable, right? It's gonna be the same person. So you would probably call, obviously, if he's healthy, and this is not a problem, people, because when you're over 30, your body don't hold up as much. So don't be surprised if Hayden can't make it for the next window. I'm serious.
Well, also you can't even make it with the amount of travel that they have done in the past 2-3 months. That's the issue.
Exactly. So between the travel and some people not getting playing time, so their body not get used to that hard work, and then they come and they're playing so much here, it becomes challenging. So if you were to play the team, I think he should play his normal formation, because they're not used to playing like a 3-5-2, or they're not used to playing a 3-4-3. So he probably should just go his traditional formation, which is playing a single pivot with Hayden, having an 8 who box to box, and having a 10. I think when he plays Russell and Palmer, he sometimes plays they play almost not a true cam role. Palmer plays more forward. They interchange, right?
Yeah. FYI, I've been told that Bobby Reid's getting rested. He's not injured.
Oh, okay. Somebody told me he was injured. So if he's not injured, then that's a good thing. We actually need Bobby Reid against Trinidad and Curaçao, because defensively, he's going to probably play a double pivot with Bobby and Hayden, or a little bit of a hybrid. That works well. You can allow because your wingers are not the most defensive minded. Put it that way. None of them except Campbell.
Where you played Leon Bailey? I helped Leon Bailey.
It depends if he's fit or not. All right, that's another question.
So I said a healthy Leon Bailey, a healthy and fully fit Leon Bailey.
Beside the coach,
where you put in a healthy and fit Damari Gray.
On the left wing.
so where y'all gonna put the trench strong trio of Cephas, Dixon, and Boza?
I'm not calling Dixon.
Yeah,
I'm not calling Dixon. I only have four winger spots. I only have 4 winger spots. Right? I got 7 people for 4 spots. I'm not calling Campbell. I'm not calling Dixon.
Which Campbell?
Tyrese Campbell.
Tyrese?
Yeah. I'm not calling Campbell. I'm not calling Dixon. I can't. I mean, Bailey, Gray, Cephas, Whisper. That's my 4.
They might block Palisades Highway with that decision cranky.
So they block it. They block that road for Walter Boyd when he had Simonis. They can block it all they want. I wouldn't call Dixon. I mean, he has a lot of energy and he runs a lot, but he's still immature when it comes to playing football.
Yeah, but decision making is not at the level that it needs to be against high level opponents.
There's a reason why his game at Crawley Town is going in the opposite direction. Don't people realize that?
So yeah, I realize. So if we call up 30 players, right?
Oh, 30 is different. You'd be getting called up 30.
No, you call up 30 and you select 23. But if you call up 30, I'm calling up 10 midfielders.
They won't do that. They won't do that. They won't do that.
Why, that makes too much sense?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Well, I mean, normally you probably wouldn't call 30. You probably call 8. You probably do 8, 8, 8, and you have 3. So that's 27. You have 3 more, maybe 9, 9, 9. Because you probably don't call it more,
We've called between 26 and 30 in the past 2 windows. If you look at it.
Well, no, they haven't called them. They have notified some to be on standby, I guess. They've had a list of about 40-some people.
They were there. And we made decisions. But they called up 27 the first window. Okay. And they called up 28 this window.
Well, I mean, I don't think you should. So the midfield, they have never called, I don't think, more than 7 midfielders. Not what I've seen anyway.
No, we haven't. What we do, we call like 6 or 7, but we'll call like 6 or 7 forward and about 6 wingers.
Yeah. We call the wingers because, so here's where I get beaten. We call the wingers because Jamaica produce a lot of wingers locally.
No, we call it winners because McClaren and Speed, because we put them together, are technically them head tough. Tactically, them head tough.
No, because you think about it. I mean, Whisper, Dixon, and Bailey are all wingers, right? Most of Jamaica players.
You consider Whisper a winger?
Yeah, he's a winger. He's a right winger. Yeah. So he played for Chelsea. He's not playing in the middle. He's playing the same place Bailey plays.
Does he play? Okay. Does Chelsea play him in a 4-4-2 as one of the 4 in the middle, or do they play a 4?
They play him out wide. They play him out wide.
With 3 up top, or as a part of a 4-man?
I can't remember, but I know they play him out wide. I've watched maybe 4 or 5 videos. He plays out wide.
I think they play him up top as one of the three guys up top.
Yeah, but if you play up top in a 3, then you play on the wing, right? Unless you're in the middle. So you would. They probably play. What do they play? 4-2-3-1. They probably play 4-2-3-1. Yeah, and he's not. He's on the right. He's on the right. He's on the right. Yeah. He's on the right. He's on the right. Look, he looks good in the Curaçao game. People focus on the Bermuda game. I don't. He played 10 minutes in the Curaçao game. He looks really good. Just very, very mature in his play. Not rushing anything. Serving the field. Minutes, though? Can he? I don't know. I mean, he had 190 minutes.
Hold on. Let's be honest. No.
No, I mean, I'm saying I don't know because they say he's been training for a while, and I don't know. I mean, he hasn't played.
Whisper can't give us 80 minutes against Trinidad. He can't. Not right now.
Yeah, I don't know what he can give us, but I wouldn't start him. I wouldn't start him. You know what? I'll change it. I probably would start Bailey and Gray, but then I'm concerned about Bailey not being fit either. Bailey's not fit. You don't get fit when you've been injured for that long. But he played 16 minutes for Roma. He played 60 minutes for Roma the last game.
But he just played the first of 5 games for Roma before the window. And I'm not even including Champions League. I didn't even look at the Champions League game. I think this is, they have, when I looked at it, it was 6 games that they have before the window. And one of them were Champions League game.
Right. So I got a text here say both Bobby Reid and Palmer are not out for extended period. I got another text.
We got the same text. We got the same text.
Well, I got another text from somebody here.
Yeah. We get
that says Lampard says Lati is going to be out. Don't know for how long. There's a knee problem. And now I got another text for Palmer. So we may all got the same text, right?
No, I didn't get the Coventry City one.
I got the same Coventry City one. Yeah. Mm. I have to find the other one that
Cranky, I think what we need, you're retired, aren't you, sir, or semi-retired?
I am. I'm not. I don't have a vacation now. I don't have a regular job.
All right. So we need you to fly to England with your English passport and dip on the ground. and pull up over London. I will pay for the first Uber ride. Okay.
You know, I actually thought about this. I say, you know, why didn't I just go take the scouting exam and become a scout and go source players? But then I would get mad because the JFF would say, no, we're not taking that person. No, we're not taking that person. I would not take it well. So it doesn't make sense me doing that.
Cranky, don't be a scout. Just fly to England, visit 2 of your family, and just show up there 3-4 days and watch the last match day before the window. And then come back and give you a report. Do a Cranky live interview, because you know our players are not that hard to reach after a match. It's not like our players are, especially if you're Jamaican, them walk right up to you.
Well, it depends. Actually, it depends. Not every Jamaican player is approachable. I'm just going to say that, especially 1 or 2 of the locally born ones.
Hold on, Cranky. Have you approached them after their club matches overseas?
No.
They're easy. Them cool.
No, when I went to Orlando for
wait.
Let me just say this: at COVID, the players were great. Not when I met them in a hotel before, but they were great. But I'm just saying, I've met one of them outside of that arena. Sort of met. I was taken aback by the. I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm not gonna say who it was, but I was taken aback. Let's just say that.
Cracker, me pay your Uber if you go to Roma.
Yeah.
And go to Charlton. Go to. Hold on. Let me say.
But the players I've met have been great. Most players have been great.
You know, go to Charlton, go to Chelsea, and then go up to Birmingham real quick. And you realize, in my experience, they want in, especially when they've gone to with the Jamaican players, they're very easy to contact.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny about that is when I was in England, I only went to Arsenal games, and I didn't get a chance to associate because I used to go to. It wasn't me. That's a friend of mine who had box seats, so I didn't get to associate that way because it's really removed. I used to meet few of the players. Like I met Ramsey's fiance at the time. One of the guys who was supposed to play for Jamaica, I forgot what his name was. His dad was there, Jamaican. But I never really got to go. I should have gone, as you're suggesting, to those games and get to meet some of those players, actually.
Cracky, after I went to, where was Sam Allardyce? West Ham, when Ravel. Easy walk up to him. I went to Watford. I went to, Fuller was down at Southampton at the time. I went to, what name there? Birmingham City.
Okay.
And we go on next one. What next one? Reading, right? When a couple of the players were at Reading. Bridget, no problems. Easy thing. Them cool.
Yeah, I must admit though, I'm a little bit. I don't want a player to think I'm chasing them and engaging them. That's why I stay away from those things. Because even when I went to St. Louis the other day, I didn't go by the players' hotel. If I'm doing the media stuff now, I don't want to be a hypocrite where I'm criticizing you and then I come smile and want to engage you. I feel hypocritical doing that. So even when I went to St. Louis, I didn't try to find the hotel. I didn't try to go by the hotel. I was like, you know what? I don't want to be viewed in a certain light. You know, I'm here criticizing you. You're not scoring goal. You're not getting playing time. Not going to be your face smiling, saying, how you doing? Let's I engage you. I feel a little bit uncomfortable doing that. That's
one of the difficult parts of media. So, yeah.
Well, I don't want to call myself media because the JFF doesn't necessarily give YouTubers access to the last window. So we're not true media. If you're traditional media, you get access all the time. You have no restrictions on your ability to get to game and get your media pass.
I have no comments on that either way, sir. That's all I have to say.
But you raised some good points there. You raised some good points. I must admit, when I was in Orlando, the players were awesome, actually. It was during COVID period. The players were awesome. Simply awesome. I mean, they were appreciative. And something that happened today, I was listening to someone, what was I listening to? A player talking about the impact of the crowd when they're playing. And I thought about Jamaica when he was saying this. I forgot which player was saying this. He was talking about the mesmerizing nature of the cheers that give you the energy on the field. I mean, you want to run through a brick wall.
Yeah. The right? Crowd gives you extra
But Jamaica, I don't think Jamaica crowd does that.
We don't. Well, as a whole, the Jamaican crowd doesn't sing, and the Jamaican crowd reacts, not doesn't lift the team. It's a more reactive crowd.
Yeah. But I mean, I would hope the crowd would realize that whatever happened in Trinidad game happens, right? Game is done. We lose, we win, it happens. We beat Curaçao at home, we win the World Cup. That's all you got to focus on, beating Curaçao at home. So the crowd has to make it uncomfortable for Curaçao. I mean, when Atletico Madrid went to Arsenal Stadium the other day, there was no hot water. I don't think that was by mistake.
Yeah, you do.
I don't think it was by mistake. I think they made it uncomfortable for them.
Cracky, I am one of those who are fully supportive of the gamemanship, especially when it's a critical game.
Yeah, right? I hear when we go to Latin America, it's ridiculous. So yeah. Like, you know,
me would have a full-on Vibes Cartel concert right outside a Curaçao hotel and start it at like 1 a.m. and don't get done until 6 a.m. and make it the whole thing free.
Interesting. So you think, but they shouldn't need incentive apart from going to the World Cup to come out, right? Especially since now the women's team are going to be bidding for the World Cup, which is a rubber stamp, it looks like. So Jamaica will have a World Cup. Let's hope we refurbish the stadium in time for 2031. So we should be getting to those vibes. And there's no better thing than the men's World Cup in terms of visibility, notoriety, publicity, and financial rewards. The crowd should be really focused on making them comfortable with Curaçao and make the players feel at home. Every single player, no matter where they were born or where they grew up. Make them feel like, you know what? They're the best things in sliced bread and that we can beat any team and they can play even above their ability.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Cranky, the one that me see, I was in Guatemala. Hey, so they have the bus that go through and the police escort, and they had the regular downtown bus that go. Hey, Bertie, two of them broke down right in the middle of the road. Right? So the team bus and the police have to do like a 3-point turn in the middle of downtown.
What, the bus they just weren't service of a bus? They weren't good buses?
Hey, they flip over the bonnet and everything on them. They look underneath it hard, brother.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So the police could get it wrong, right?
Right.
The police on the bike could get it wrong, but the team bus not go nowhere. Have like a 3-point turn in the middle of the place.
Wow.
Yeah,
I mean, look, I'm hoping that it'll be a sellout crowd for next month for the Curaçao game. I'm hoping to be a sellout crowd because I think the players need that support, and we should provide that support. We are just as invested as they are to go to the World Cup.
Yeah, it's the benefit of Jamaica to make it happen. Yeah, so
let's hope they do.
Yeah. I don't mind saying it. I think it's going to be the players that get the job done. I will leave my comments towards the technical staff.
No, we're not. So here's my view on this before you go. So I have decided to just focus on the players for now. Focus on the players. I gave the Jamaica I gave the president his kudos for working with CONCACAF and FIFA to bring World Cup to Jamaica. I think it's a big deal, actually. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
So let's hope we're prepared and we can get the stadium refurbished and we can get access to the stadium easy because it's not easy to get to that stadium. Given the limited number of roads that get you there, they should find a way to open up how you get there. Let's hope we can work through that.
All right.
All right. So, yeah, man. Bless you. All right, people. I'm going to close this down soon. Let me see what else is out here. Chris Simmons says, cranky. So not answering that you don't remember that Jamal Lowe said to Simon that every time he has called up, came and he wasn't called up and he don't know why. No, I don't remember that. I don't remember that. Well, I mean, look, let me just say this, people, because I think sometimes some of those players, some of the ones who were born in diaspora, believe that they have an inalienable right to be called up. You don't. Because when you're playing for England and you don't get called up, don't say you don't know why. Now, I would say this, though. The coach should be calling you up and having a conversation with you if you're a regular in the team. Right? They should be. I don't understand that. The coach should be calling you up if you're not regular if you're a regular in the team and explain to you why they don't call you up. Because I hear whether it was Southgate or Tuchel talk about the players in the England team and that they call the ones who haven't been selected. So if you're a Rashford, if you're a Grealish, if you're a Ford, you get a phone call. Not selecting. If you're Bellingham, you're not selecting this period because XYZ. That should be the case. Phone blowing up, people. I get a text here that said 2031 is a bid to host the World Cup. It's a non-competitive bid. What are we talking about? It is a bid by Costa Rica, Mexico, Jamaica, and United States. There are no other parties bidding. So it's a rubber stamp bid. Oh, Lord. It's a rubber stamp bid. I read it. I read the article the other day. There's no other country out there that's bidding for the World Cup. We have 4 countries who are bidding for this one. So saying that it's not official, it's official in my mind. I hear there was no other bid, so I don't know. Someone said there's other bids can come in. Ain't nobody bidding. Anyway, good night. Tycoon, how you doing?
Oh, Sir Crank, where you going with them in general?
I am all right. How you doing?
I'm great. Big up everybody in the chat. Like and subscribe and what guy already. Cranky. One of the most credible ones and one of the ones that we have fight the war. Cause you know what guy already, right? But I'm saying Cranky, right? Really Cranky, I'll fight the war, brother. I don't
war. We just try to do the thing.
War, man. Cause me hear the man in my burn out me and a few others, in the diaspora,
I'm getting burned out. Somebody's go ahead.
And I say to them, like, the people that fight in the locals, the people who's underground with the locals, fighting the locals. It's not the people from the diaspora, it's the people who live in Jamaica, really fighting the players in Jamaica. For instance, when we play against Trinidad, that friendly game.
Yeah.
When they play against Trinidad, right? A lot of people were saying the players that Steve McClaren and Merron got to pick, them not good, a friend thing. People from the diaspora was saying nothing about that.
Oh, you mean when it's all local players? Yeah.
When it's all local players. So you when I remind them about these things, right? Saying that it's people who on the ground fighting the players on the ground.
Yeah.
When everybody start talking about Dixon, you see this big wagon now and Dixon. A lot of people from in Jamaica were saying people were saying, Whisper. People were saying Dixon over Whisper already.
Yeah.
It was the people in the diaspora saying that, it's people on the ground saying that, So when they run these narratives saying people in the diaspora fighting the football, that's a lie. What the people in the diaspora want is to win, for Jamaica to win. What I see going on on the ground is that people on the ground love the hype, love the excitement, and because they might know a man from around there, so them cheer for it. They really don't care about winning. They care about the hype. And that is what... Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm listening.
Okay, so they care about the hype when we really care about winning. Because when you look at it, Cranky, it's over 27 years that we went to the World Cup. And unfortunately, 2002, we didn't make it. Miss out by a point, right?
Yeah.
If I can remember.
That's a big
So that
miss.
was very... Yeah, that was a big miss. And when you hear why we didn't qualify, when Tapa came out and speak of what he did and everything, you look at it like, wow.
Now that wasn't 2002 that Tapa did that. You're talking about with the English and overseas?
Yeah, which year that was?
No, that was the one before COVID where he played Panama and just made a mess of things. That wasn't 2002. That was much later. That was the last World Cup cycle.
That was right. Yeah, right.
That was the last World Cup cycle. And for him to come out and say that was just, I don't think he understands the implications of saying what he says, but it is what it is.
Exactly. And we see all the mess that went on with the federation and him. So we see that is local people in the local space fighting against each other with the football. It's not people who in the diaspora. Who in the diaspora want to support the football. Like we said, JFF get a JFF live. We in the diaspora want to support it. But
I you know what's funny? If you just think about it, you know, people in diaspora could select a second team, you know. They could just say, you know what, I live in the US, I'm a US citizen, I support the US, right? But they love Jamaica. They're not doing that. I don't support England. I mean, I support England if Jamaica not doing well. But that's why that's how I run things. I don't support England first. I support Jamaica first, right? So I don't understand when people local are so anti-diaspora a lot of times because they believe that we are just not supportive of local players. And yes, they are closer to the local players and they have more insight into their ability. But their insight is skewed by the fact that the level of competition the players are playing doesn't give real information or good information about how good those players are. You forget about the environments when they can play against players who are much more in other parts of the world who are better competitively for you to draw a conclusion about their ability. You can't do it just say you're just local. You may see a lot of potential, but that potential needs to be actualized and become actual versus it being, you know what, something you can be versus something that you are.
And you know the craziest thing about that, Cranky, you're correct. And it's so crazy that, you know, we live in the diaspora, you know what I mean? We live in America, some live in England, you know, all over. And it's not that you're more intelligent more than anyone else on the ground. You know what I mean? But when you live in the US hemisphere and the England hemisphere, you really see things on a bigger level. Right?
Well, I think you see things a little bit, well, look, I don't know if it's bigger anymore because everybody has access to information. True. Everybody can see anything we can see, somebody can see in other parts of the world. So you should be able to get the same access to information to have informed your view about things. So I wouldn't say it's just that when you are localized, and I hear it in England too, people are very supportive of the academy players, for example. You talk about, I support Arsenal. They talk a lot about if Lewis Kelly and another player are similar level, they want Lewis Kelly to play. Right? But in Jamaica, even when the player is not at that level, they want that player to play. Or if you said a player is not at the level, they get upset. You're fighting Dixon. You're fighting Cephas. You're fighting Whisper. When you're saying, yeah, but this other player, but here's an example, because I asked the question at the press conference, I got beaten for it. When I asked the coach about Campbell versus Dixon. Campbell and Dixon are in the same team. Campbell is starting every week. Dixon's not even in the squad. They play similar positions. And you bring Dixon, you don't bring Campbell. So I have to ask the question, what's the story? Right? That's like no-brainer story. That's no-brainer question. What's the criteria for selection when he's not playing and I'm playing and you bring in him? Campbell should be asking that question. Maybe he doesn't because those English-based players or English-born players, you hear them really saying controversial. Apart from Antonio and Ravel, they don't say anything.
Right. And I let it pivot to what I was saying as into how algorithms are brought, you know, the database and, you know, everything else where you could check on players and do all that, which we didn't have in our system. And as a federation, that was like distasteful to know that we didn't reach that far into our football. So we were like 5-10 years behind everybody else. You know what I mean? And when we say these things, you know, people look at it and say, "Una come with the foreign style, I test we deal with it." You know what I mean? And when players move further in their career, they see that these things are what teams out there in the hemisphere are using. So they have to try adjust back to everything. So you're supposed to learn from basic. Is when you turn 24, you start learning these things.
Yeah. Well,
So
some people mature sooner than others, so it does happen.
So like we said, Cranky, we love all players. I can speak for myself and I can speak for you too because I listen here carefully. We love all players. What we want to win, and we want the best possible team out there on the pitch.
Yeah.
And I have to respect when Mr. Speed came the other night and said, I think they're learning, taking their time learning now. When he said, when on ball pre station, when he said that he got to consider getting rid of the quota system now because he see what the world doing. And we've been preaching these things for a long time.
Yep.
And when you look at the Morocco team, what Morocco did, beat Argentina. No one would have thought of that because they are building something special. So what Morocco doing right now, Morocco have a whole lot of money to where they can build a grassroots program, build a female program, build the men's team, and build all teams.
Yeah, because they got a lot of money from the World. Yeah, how much money they get from the last World Cup? Tons of money from the last World Cup.
Exactly.
Tons of money.
You know what I mean? So that is what we want for Jamaica because Jamaica don't have the money. When you look at the JPL, when you look at these pitches in the JPL, it really hurt me. Like me, I say, yo, John, I wish me have the money like that, freely just pour in a certain teams in Jamaica and help the football because we don't invest as much.
Be careful with that in a cause. You sure you go reach his destination?
Well, I would have make sure that it's done.
I know people have to get them cut. People invest with me, but I fuck me attack people. Some people have to get them cut. They don't cut out everybody. Cut out all the people that was supposed to benefit from it.
You know what I mean, Cranky? So when you look and we say, John, let's win the Gold Cup. Let's have our best players that are available to us. Try to win the Gold Cup, the Nation League. All these leagues, Jamaica can have a lot of money. We have talent in Jamaica, but we're not going to find 20 or we're not going to find 30 that could play at the highest level at this moment.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny? I know a couple of kids now. They play. One of my friends of mine, his stepson plays in MLS, whatever, MLS2, whatever it is. MLS Next. He can't play high school football, you know. And I have another friend of mine who used to work on one of my staff whose adopted son. He was playing MLS Next, and he said he doesn't want to play because he want to go to high school because, you know, some people want to be around the girls. He's like 13, 14. And he said he's not going to play MLS Next because you can't play high school football. The reason I'm bringing this up is that you can get in bad habits playing against lesser competition, right?
There you go. True.
And they want them to stay to get to a certain level, so they have them play at a certain level. And even in England, for example, I was looking at Saka and all of them who play a little bit of high school football, but most times they be in academies, so they're not playing high school football. They're playing in a structured environment where you really learn the game, where the game becomes second nature, where you don't have inferior competition. You're playing and you think you're good when you may not be as good as you think you are.
Exactly. And that boils down to coaching. Even with our youth teams, all of our youth teams for the last, I would say, all right, talk about right now. All of our youth teams fail on us. All of the youth teams fail.
Even when they water down the under 17, they fail.
You know what I mean? Fail. So we still put back the same coaches that been failing in our youth programs. Yeah. That is something. And you know, Mr. Speed, said they get their badges now, and they went overseas. They went to Trinidad and get their badges and everything. But here's the thing, Tycoon. Are they truly? So here's my problem with that, because I think I get beaten for this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Are they truly exposed though? I mean, wait. No, you're in the Caribbean. You're in the Caribbean, learning from people in the Caribbean whose football are not going anywhere, right? Whose football not going anywhere. How much can you learn from that? And I said this. I gave the analogy, people. I'm sure Charlie Smith and Campion's curriculum are similar. But how many passing grades does Charlie Smith get versus Campion? Right? It doesn't matter who your lecturers are. It's not just about the curriculum and are you learning the same thing? It does beg the question, who's teaching you? What are you learning? I've said this, which is, I think Jamaica should figure out a way to engage, to go overseas. For example, I'm always using industrialized countries that people should engage with. But you know what? If Morocco is doing well, build a relationship with Morocco. I'm sure they would love to talk to Jamaica.
and tell us about what's your process? What have you done over the last 15 years or so to allow you to get where you are? Tell us the methodology you employ to do so. So let's say we came follow Barcelona or Spain or England because we don't have their resources. I'm sure Morocco is not a very rich country, even though they may have some resources now, given their football program is doing well. What have you done and when did you start? Sit us down and walk us through your methodology you employ to get to where you get to.
Right.
What time period does that entail? How can we leverage what you have done to help us get to where you are? Because you're in a really good place, right? We talk a good game. We talk a good game,
right?
But we don't do anything to invest in the program in the right way. We don't make ourselves uncomfortable to get to be good.
That's exactly what I'm saying, Cranky, and you're totally correct on that. And I would say give Jeff the benefit of the doubt. We don't have any money, and that's clear that we don't have any money.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, why don't you find somebody that is fundamentally sound, even one man, and put them as your technical director, right? And have a philosophy and said, okay, from this level in the grass, this is all I want, everybody to play, coming up through the ranks. We don't have that fundamental person that knows the game. Even like when Rene Simoes came to Jamaica, we can't stop talking about that. Came to Jamaica and have us playing, and all teams was playing the same football.
Yeah, so we have never put in place a technical director to oversee the football program and to develop and implement and execute a style of play or a system of play, and then that could be permeated throughout the entire country. We haven't done that.
And this is where I have to get mad with Mr. Speed. I don't know if it's the money. I don't know if it's because we don't have the money to pay Steve McClaren to do this or what. But I think he was paid to coach the team take us to the World Cup. I clearly understand that, right? But I just don't see what Meron Garden doing around the team over the years that he really helping the football in Jamaica. Because if you're around the national team so long, why is it that you can't get an under 17 team to coach or an under 20, either men or women? You know what I'm saying? So I just don't really see what Steve McClaren really doing to help Jamaican football. I don't know how much he's getting paid, and I don't know how his salary goes. That is not really my business, right? But I'm saying if you're in Jamaica, what is it that you're doing to help the football? So we really lose it ears, right? With him as a coach coming in to coach the team. We should at least get a coach that can even be on the ground, say searching for talent, and you're looking for talent, be at the JPL games, and you go to the high school games. That do a lot for a kid to also, knowing that you have the Jamaican coach come to your high school game watching you. You know what I mean? That will boost a young youth confident. You know what I mean? Just like what Rene Simoes is doing. So like I said, I think, Speed love Jamaica and them love the game and everything. I know we shout at money, but they have to really find somebody that is fundamentally sound. The next cycle of football, that's we not have to cry for midfield, and we have to cry for forward, and we have to cry for all these things. We have to change the philosophy of the football right now. That's why we cannot get no sponsorship to help the football.
Well, I don't know if that's the reason why we can get sponsorship. I do think
it's not attractive. Currently, it is not attractive. It is not attractive. You know what I mean? And when your football is not attractive, one person not going to really want to invest in something that is not attractive. Jamaica don't have a style of play, and it's not attractive. Don't feel like these sponsors not watching the games. They are watching the games. They know what's going on.
Well, I mean, they get sponsorship now since they're looking like they may get to the World Cup. They get sponsorship.
It's business and it's an opportunity. Yeah. So one person who buys stocks, he will know how the stock market go to invest his money. You know what I mean? But one last thing, Ravel Morrison or Cranky.
Yeah.
I see Ravel Morrison have to be in this Jamaican team. Let me tell everybody out there something. Ravel Morrison is one of those players who is an instrument of the game. Ravel Morrison is a player coach. And sometimes Ravel Morrison thinks a lot of these coaches not playing chess the right way, so he always have his input on games. And sometimes a lot of coaches don't really like that. The Messis, the Ronaldo, and all these players, they have the same IQ. But I just think Ravel is one of the black sheep that's, they always go and beyond. But he just see the game on a different spectrum. And a lot of coaches cannot take it. And that's how with Ravel. Ravel knows the game of football, and he's an instrument of the game.
Yeah, and look, I mean, I believe that, and like a number of people do, some don't. Ravel divides opinion. There are some who say we're past Ravel. There are others who say one Ravel. So
Not in Jamaica.
No, some in Jamaica. No, some in Jamaica. Some in Jamaica. Some in Jamaica.
Frankie, out of all the players that are available to play for Jamaica, is only one player. Well, I could say two players. I could say two players presently right now in the team, with might be on the same level with fan base in Jamaica. And it might be Kind Dixon, Whisper, and Ravel have the most fan base in Jamaica.
Well, I mean, they're locally developed, right? And people have watched them through high school, through the development, and I'm an association with them. But I'll say this about that, though, which is I don't think the JFF has done enough to promote the overseas-born players, right? If you want the players to be embedded in the society, I don't know, they come in and they could leave. You got to find ways to have them link with the Jamaica community, which will allow them to get to know them more, and they can have more appreciation for them. I don't think that's ever been done.
Yeah.
That's not done.
I remember one time, we still have to go back to Simos again. Boy, you see it? When Paul and all these guys came to Jungle, go to Rockfort, there was in Ochirayas, there was an IRFM road shows. You know what I mean? And they were embedded in all these communities. Fitzroy Sims was on phone cards. You know what I mean? There was a lot of things. You could go on a lot of billboards and Mandela Highway and see all these players on billboards and everything. You know what I mean? You have Alpha Tree, you have Crossroad, you have Moby, you have Ochi, and I don't think, because I don't think it's happening right now. Just like I said, I don't think it's happening, and that's where
I mean, the JFF will have some of the overseas-based players on some of the material they put out, but I actually take some time and review the materials, and I'm smiling when I look at some of the materials. I do smile.
See, internet posts, we all know that right now everything going digital, right? But when you have the boards put up, the big screen boards put up, you know what I mean? I remember right where CVM used to be right there. That's on Constant Springwood right there.
All right.
You could have seen the big picture with the Reggae Boyz, and it showed different different players. Yeah. And like we say, when you look at what Citadel doing with the basketball teams, like all the players who want to play for Jamaica, she brought them down a Jungle. She brought them all over. Some got St. Elizabeth, you know what I mean? Some got all over where their parents from, and it's like they do different things, you know what I mean? Building academies and doing different things. And that's all we ask from JFF. We know the window shot, right, Cranky?
Yeah.
But them can at least, there is no way we're going to a World Cup. And the players are not embedded in the culture. Player was going to what the preacher man name of a church at the Rock. I forgot his name. He was the Reggae Boyz preacher.
Okay.
Players was going to church. Anybody in the chat can remind me right now. What the player name again? He was the one that brought him to us. Anybody can remind me what his name was? Al Miller. I think his name was Miller. Right? It was a whole country behind the team, full force, because players that came in, right, from overseas, they were embedded in the culture. I don't understand what Simon doing. I don't understand I really don't want to call on nobody for it, but they are closer to the players. You should at least get the players to go out in the streets, sign autographs, sign shirts, do different things. They just carry them on them go river.
Well, it's kind of tough nowadays, because they play so much football. It's sometimes difficult, right?
Yes,
they're playing so much football, they don't really have time. But I do think that better job could be done, as you said, to link that. I mean, I forgot to leave you, because somebody called me about 3 times already. So
see, Cranky, you could carry them to Bob Marley Museum and carry them to River. you're not showing that the culture is in the streets. The culture is in the community.
Not everybody want to go in the streets, tycoon. Everybody want to go in the streets. Some people avoid the streets.
But there are people where you hide for. You can't hide for your people. You cannot hide from your people. You have to make the people.
Your people could also be uptown.
Don't put your people with your people. And let us be one, because we're fighting for one cause to go to the World Cup. Have a good night, Cranky.
All right, best. Thanks for the call.
Yeah, man, respect.
Yeah. Let me call back 658. It was called about 3 times. Tycoon, say for the people. I hear you, Tycoon. And now pick up, so too bad. Not picking up. Anyway, people, I'm gonna close on the program. You know what? Let me go to the rest of the comments and then closing the program. I'm gonna watch the rest of the Knicks game because I missed most of the game. Let me see if there's any comments here. Why we can't talk about 98 World Cup, nothing of why. I tell you, it's bad enough when you can only talk about one World Cup, people. We have played football since the early 1900s, and we still only talk about one World Cup. And we have had the best opportunity to go to a World Cup this year. And if we had beaten Curaçao, we would have been in the World Cup. And we got Curaçao lose that game, which to me, we shouldn't have lost. We had chances. But we do have to ensure that we don't mess up this window. And that's for the purpose of this session today, which is, I know I got a text saying Bobby Reid is not injured and that Palmer's injury, as suggested, may not be what people say it is. So there's conflicting information there. But regardless, even if those players are still coming, I still think the players I've listed should be in the squad. Whether it's Tyrese Hall or Ravel or Daniel Johnson. For the life of me, as people, Daniel Johnson's team is in last position. Most of the other players are not playing Premier League football. They're not playing French League, League One. They're not playing La Liga. They're not playing Bundesliga. They're not playing Eredivisie. He's playing in a high league in Turkey, and he cannot get a call. No window at all. And I haven't heard any explanation as to why. Is it that Miran Gordon doesn't know about him? Well, this coach don't know most of the players. The coaches rely upon Miran Gordon and sometimes Simon to tell him about the players. Is that those players that he's not been recommended? He knows Ravel. I don't think he's the biggest Ravel fan because, as I said, when I was in St. Louis, he brought Ravel all the way from Middle East, spent a lot of money, and didn't give Ravel no playing time. And I'm not sure everyone in the JFF is supportive of Ravel being the team. They may think he's past his prime. And it's their prerogative, right? We all can agree. We can't get all the players we want in the team because there's never consensus on which player should be in. But I would say if a team is being picked on merit and solely merit, for the Jamaica team, it's hard to assess because you don't have data to assess merit. I've never seen anything like this. I've been watching football for a long, long time. I have never seen a national team being picked where so many players are getting no playing time or so limited playing time. I've also never seen one where I have no idea what the selection criteria entail. None. Now, you'll have team where the selection criteria for the first 20 players is based on how they perform for their clubs. And a manager may have 3 or so spots for different players, right? So if you look at England, maybe Henderson, his history, his leadership, manager may say, you know what? Even though he's playing well now for Brentford, but I got to take a risk on him. Or he may say, you know what? Rashford, proven, been there, done that. I know his ability. He may not be where he's supposed to be, but they're not going to bring 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 players where they're playing limited or no football in their national team. They're just not. Now, the first question is going to be, well, who else should we bring? I just gave you some names of players. I don't think, and that's why sometimes our players will struggle when they come for the national team. 2 years ago, 2023, when Bailey and Gray were firing, and Antonio wasn't really firing, but he was a key part of it, we were running over Trinidad. we didn't even consider Trinidad competition. We didn't think Trinidad was in our vicinity, in our zip code. We played them in the Gold Cup and just run over them. And that was one of their better. That's what, not a better team, but that was their first team. It wasn't a team where missing players. We ran over them, and now it's a whole different situation, right? Because a lot of players are not, to me, Gray's not firing like he used to. Even those people say he's playing for Birmingham. I'm not seeing any assists or any goals. Bailey's injured. Sifa saying playing no football. You go look at Sifa stats, people. They're awful in terms of game time, just game time. Same thing with Dixon. And these people are guaranteed to be, at least not Gray and Bailey. We've seen them late. And I've said this. The next window, especially for the front line, will be the most difficult one for the coach. There can be a lot of upset people, whether they're upset because we're bringing in people who may have not been in the squad the last 2 windows, or they're upset because we have people in the team who, frankly, people think should be in the team because they're not getting playing time at their clubs. It will be a very uncomfortable window, and we'll see how it materializes. A very uncomfortable window. Why we can Odell? Me can't explain anything to you, Odell. We're not talking about Odell. What are we talking about, Odell? What do you mean, Odell? Saka is like a Odell. Me can't explain to you, Odell. Me no want to go down the road there, because then you're not following what I'm saying. You're not following what I'm saying. Saka doesn't get benched for Arsenal team. I don't know what you're talking about. If he's on the bench, it's because he comes from injury for maybe 2 or so games. Then he goes in the first team. He's not captain of the team when Odegaard is out. Don't use those analogies, Odell. Start me, rile me up tonight with those things. Please, if you're going to give example, if you're going to challenge what I'm saying, please use ones that really work. We use Saka. Really? He's deemed to be an untouchable. And when he's not injured, he plays, period. And he's in form. Right? He's in form. And he's playing brilliant football, actually. So that's not a good example. Give me another example. They didn't call Bellingham. Bellingham played 5 games for Real Madrid. He didn't get called. He only played 190 minutes. He didn't get called. They basically said, at least what Tuchel said, he spoke to him and he's still not supposedly, quote unquote, fit or whatever he wants to call it. He played 5 games. And he's supposed to be a world-class player. You get called based on club performance. You don't get called based on just your history. As I said before, and I just said that, Odell, maybe 3 or so players in the national team may have something carved out for them for different reasons. The coach carved out Antonio for his leadership and his effect in the living room. But frankly, he shouldn't have done so because Antonio couldn't play. Right? He couldn't play 20 minutes. So why are you going to do that? Bring him as an assistant coach or bring him around the team, but don't bring him in as a player and take up a slot for somebody else who you could have in the squad. But anyway, let me close out by saying I appreciate everyone who has joined me for this evening. We're going to do the forward sometime this week, maybe on Friday. I got checked this evening by someone who texted me and said, I'm going to use my own words, false perspective on the injury situation with those players, and I should check with the managers of the teams for those players, what I was told. So I'll make sure I do that next time, because I got from 2 different sources that Bobby Reid had a hamstring problem. I saw the Lampard thing about Lati, that he came back from Jamaica injured, but when he came to Jamaica, I suppose he wasn't injured. And then I was told about Palmer way before yesterday that he has an injury. Now people are questioning the view about what length of time he's going to be out. I don't know what length he's going to be out. But regardless of the situation with those players, the players I mentioned tonight should be given consideration. We had 5 midfielders for the Curaçao game. Ian Fray, to me, not the requisite cover, requisite midfield. I pointed out the situation with Karoy and him get no playing time. If you have Tyrese Hall, so maybe the person who texts me can text me, is Tyrese Hall say he doesn't want to play for Jamaica? Because I'm hearing things differently from multiple sources, and some of them are supposed to be good sources. So Tyrese Hall doesn't want to play. Daniel Johnson doesn't want to play. And we know the situation with Ravel, which goes back and forth. Ravel, things are different. Yeah, and the coach probably called him because Madueke was also out, right? Madueke was out. He's going to play Saka anyway, regardless of what. But Madueke is injured, so who's going to play on the right side? Palmer is out. Madueke is out. Got to play somebody. And Saka was fit enough to play, and Arsenal released him, so he's going to play. But anyway, thanks for being here. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Before you leave, please hit the like button. If you have not subscribed to my Balance View channel or to my Cranky Life channel, please do so. I'm doing a show tomorrow on Balance View. It's called America is Fighting Back. You know, we have had some challenges with the current person in the White House, and the Democrats have laid down like, you know what, but they're not fighting back. So I'm going to do a show on that tomorrow night, probably the same time I'm doing this show on the Balance View channel. So if you're interested in American politics or things that are happening, then join me. All right. And please hit the like button, subscribe before you go, and have a magnificent evening. Thanks, everyone. Peace out. Cranky Life is the best to be now. For the best sports talk, and it's free, yo. Cranky Life will be your guiding light by keeping you informed both day and night. Cranky Life, tell them. Cranky Life, heed them. Cranky Life, warn them. Cranky Life. From the courts to the field, we'll never lose because Cranky has the hottest news. With expert analysis, we break it down. Our in-depth coverage is best in town. Cranky Life, tell them. Cranky Life, heed them. Cranky Life, warn them. Cranky Life. Cranky Life, where the sports is spicy and where we keep the discussion lively. Cranky Life, get to know the name because Cranky analysis is never lame. Cranky Life, give me my Cranky Life. I want my Cranky Life. Must have my Cranky Life. Whether it's football or track and field, you know Cranky is at the wheel. So join the journey through victory and defeat, and subscribe and don't miss a beat of Cranky Life. Tell them, Cranky Life. Heed them, Cranky Life. Warn them, Cranky Life. If you're from England or USA, from Kingston or Bombay, from Kenya or Canada, Lagos or Havana, visit Cranky Life. Tune into Cranky Life. Like up Cranky Life. Subscribe to Cranky Life. Cranky Life coming to you on weekdays. Cranky Life sometimes on Sundays. Pull up a chair and take a seat because Cranky will always bring the heat. Cranky Life. Me say fi tell them Cranky Life. Me say fi heed them Cranky Life. On them Cranky Life. Cranky Life will be around. Cranky Life is the best in town. Me say fi heed them. Me say fi want them. Me say fi heed them. Want them, heed them, want them. Cranky Life. Cranky Life. Heed them, want them, heed them, want them. Cranky Life. Cranky Life. Heed them, want them, heed them, want them, heed them, want them. Cranky Life. Cranky Life. Cranky. Heed them, want them, heed them, want them. Heed, want, heed them.